Right, JFK Memorial. Why is it important? Well, I'm not going to tell you the exact story yet. I am. It is important. But what happened with that memorial? Why did Her Majesty the Queen? Let me see if I can bring this up on the screen. Right, so hopefully you can all see this, or you will see it in a couple of minutes. Let me see if I can. I bet this won't allow me to share it. Yes, it will. Right. So on your screen now, you should be seeing this is current legislation, right? JFK Memorial Act, 1964. 1964, Chapter 85. An act to vest, and vest is an important legal word. It means giving this in entirety over to the United States of America, the people of the United States of America, a site at Runnymede forming part of the Crown Estate to be preserved in perpetuity. Where have we heard that word before? It means forever, right? In memory of the late President JFK, John F. Kennedy, for the use and enjoyment of the public under the control and management of the trustees of the Kennedy Memorial Fund, right? Now, the trustee of the Memorial Fund and this act, two separate things, right? So in order for the land to be given to the United States of America and the people of the United States of America, it had to be given by Her Majesty the Queen, right? But it was known as Crown lands, and therefore it needed the authorization of Parliament as well. So you've got belt and braces, the monarch handing it over to the United States of America, and the Parliament itself, right? So make sure, and then the separate element is about the trust that was set up, and the trust was about some money that went into it, meaning the separate trust, and they was pushing people towards Harvard, MIT Institute in America to take our people and educate them in America, right? Whereas it has been arranged between Her Majesty's government and the government of the United States of America, with Her Majesty's royal approval, that a site at Runnymede forming part of the Crown Estate, being the land described in Schedule to this Act and delineated upon plans deposited with the Public Record Office and presented to Parliament and the Prime Minister by command of Her Majesty. So Her Majesty ordered it to be transferred to and vested, really important, and vested in the United States of America by the way of gift from Her Majesty, to be preserved in perpetuity for the use and enjoyment of the public in memory of the late President John F. Kennedy, under the control and management of the trustees hereafter mentioned. And whereas, by virtue of the trustee dated 4th of July, 1964, remember the date, 4th of July 1964, and made between the Right Honourable Alderman Clements James Harman, Lord Mayor of London. Right? Think about how important that is. One part of the one part and the trustees thereon named of the other part, copies of which have been presented to Parliament as aforesaid. Basically what we're describing now is the conveyancing. The conveyancing was done at such a high level, no one can argue about this in court, right? Memorial funds subscribed for public purpose are to be held by those trustees and other trustees to be appointed under the said deed and their successors. Upon the following trust is to say, to secure and lay out as a place for the benefit of the public and to which the public will have access, the said site at Runnymede, and protect, preserve and maintain the site as a place which the public have access. Right, so they're not allowed to turn you away from that site in this country. To establish scholarships for students of either sex from all regions of the United Kingdom at all, and any of the following places of education in the state of Massachusetts, namely Harvard University, Radcliffe College, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is where I wanted to go. And whereas it was expedient to make provision by Act of Parliament for the transfer and vesting, again, said it again, of the said site at Runnymede as foresaid, and for giving effect to the trust of the said deed so far as they relate thereto. Be it therefore enacted by the Queen's most excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Lord Spiritual and Temporal and Commons, in this present Parliament assembled, and by the authority of the same as follows. And then you'll see on the right hand side it says transfer of site to the United States of America. The land described in schedule to this act, 3 acres, is hereby transferred to and vested in the United States. Vested is a really important word. Of America for the estate and in fee simple absolute. Do you all understand what that means? Right? You've heard me talk about fee simple absolute before. That means they have complete sovereignty over that 3 acres. It is crucially important for people to understand that. To be held in perpetuity under the control and management of the trustees of the Kennedy Memorial Fund for use and enjoyment of the public in accordance with the trust deed, right? In relation to the said land, the trustees of the Kennedy Memorial shall have all such rights and powers and shall be subject to all such obligations as if they were owners of the estate hereby vested in the United States of America, and may exercise those rights and powers in any manner consistent with the purpose of Section 1 of this Act and of the trust said deed so far relates to the land. The power of the trustees control and manage said land shall include powers to determine the times at which the conditions subject to which the public have access thereof. This Act may be cited as John F. Kennedy, short title and commencement, Memorial Act 1964. This Act shall come into force on such a date as the Treasury may order or appoint, being not later or earlier termination of any tenancy which subsists the said land and the passing of this Act. Right, that's it. Lock, stock and barrel. You all just said, see what I saw there. It says fee simple absolute. That means complete and utter sovereignty. Right? That means the United States of America owns it. Why is that so important? Let's go all the way back to the top again. Why is that so important? Because it means the United States of America have an enclave that is covered by the American Constitution.